Late night upheaval and partisan overthrow, the City Assembly changes its speaker after less than a day.
Only the governor can call a jailbreak. Otherwise, there will be some serious ramifications in the game.
Will Speaker Rutledge seize ultimate power like he did last year? Or will the newly organized Patriot Party keep him in check? And as the Assembly branches out into accomplishing its policy goals, what are some of the bills we should be keeping an eye on? This is Nacho Older Brothers City on the Hill. This is the CBC flagship news show, the COTH Report, starts now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition of the COTH Report for July 23rd, 2015. My name's Joel Reedy. Like so many times here at City on the Hill, this day has been spent largely on the run. A group of students so savvy and so quick to make their moves that even our veteran team of newsmakers and news documenters are struggling to keep up. The Patriot Party, after a crushing loss last night and after several sudden defections, finds itself in the minority position. In addition, the minority party has now replaced its leadership and looks to new hopes to take it forward into the rest of this session. Tonight, Anthony Rollins brings us a special report on the upheaval here in the Assembly and how the Speaker can take advantage of the chaos. Pundits are saying the Constitutionalist Party played the Patriot Party like a fiddle yesterday. After an acrimonious floor session, the Constitutionalists controlled the speakership, and with 3 defectors from the Patriots, suddenly a majority of the Assembly.
I feel that the Constitutionalists have had a great victory last night, and I hope that it doesn't make us cocky and cause us to have any sort of downfall further in the week. But yeah, I am very excited for what our party has accomplished in such a short time.
I'd say that they didn't get a chance to talk to us enough. We only knew them for a day and a half before they went to the other party.
So you feel they jumped ship too early?
I could say some could say that.
But do you say that?
Some could say that.
But you don't say that.
I never said that.
I would probably just say in general, I think that unity in a group is important, and when people are not thinking the same way about everything, there can be dissension behind the scenes that then could cause cracks and fissures that become larger as time goes by.
Speaker Rutledge continues to downplay concerns about how he acquired absolute power during a suspension of the rules on the floor last year.
I will be blatantly honest. When that suspension of the rules did happen, I didn't know what had actually happened until Lieutenant Governor Fellerson had told me what they had just voted on. So that's not going to happen again unless they do it themselves, and I'm sure that they won't.
You would support it, though, if they did give you ultimate power.
Oh, if they gave it to me. I mean, if they voted on it, sure. I'm not going to look for it, though.
And I suppose if they jumped off a bridge, you'd let them. For CBC News, I'm Anthony Rollins. We're so glad you tuned in tonight, but don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages and a word from your local station.
From the dawn of time, there has been water. It sustains life and quenches thirst. But the corporations turned it into something unpure, defiled, polluted, filled with sugar. They added chemicals, altered its makeup, changed its very nature into something unthinkable. The dangers are high, but awareness is not. Support SB 1000 to require corporations to tell the truth about soda. Paid for by sugar opponents defending America.
Welcome back. City on the Hill, of course, is more than about elections and upheaval, as much fun as that is. It's also about the policy. Tonight, we take a special look at some of the policy that various members are bringing forth and what the leaders of the 2 parties and the Speaker of the Assembly are doing in response to these proposals. Jesse Rojas, who spoke with the City Assembly today, condemned the Patriot stance on teachers' unions.
The California Teachers Association does not care about teachers, or in this case parents in that matter, or even the kids. They just care about filling in their pockets from membership dues and lobbying for legislation that's going to give them more power and more money. They are not, for example, for private schools or charter schools, or giving back the choice to parents of where their kids should go to school and what's better for their own kids.
Constitutionalist Party leader Dunham quickly agreed.
There's nothing essentially wrong with the unions, and it really is an important ideal to have. But there needs to be restrictions and limitations on how far-reaching that union, that good thing, can reach.
Even the Patriots seem to be backing off of the union portion of their platform.
I think that as a party, we need to possibly reconsider our position because there was new information presented that some of us may not have been aware of when we voted on it as a plank.
Another major bill being considered deals with whether parental consent should be required for hospitals and doctors to store DNA information from mandatory blood tests on infants.
California takes blood samples from newborn babies whenever they're born. The reason they do this is to test it for genetic diseases, and that's fine, but they store these blood samples without parents' consent. They also sell these blood samples to researchers to use. The bill makes sure that they have the parents' consent before they do any of this.
But Assemblywoman Park is concerned about the social implications of Assemblywoman Eisenhower's proposal.
If there's so many parents who do not want the blood samples to go to research, then the data and the statistics that come out to the public will be skewed due to it's not the correct representation of the holistic population.
Speaker Rutledge weighed in with his professional medical opinion on the issue.
Well, I know that it's important to scan the blood initially to see if it has any diseases. The question obviously that has come up is if it's okay for the government to keep the blood after it's been scanned, and that's what, without parental consent. And so I believe that having parental consent is important.
But the most exciting policy issue of the day wasn't a bill at all. It came in the form of Assemblyman Thomas's resolution.
Whereas trees have been heretofore discriminated against, that they are not considered to be persons of equal status. Therefore, let it be resolved to ban the destruction of trees for any purpose, to grant all trees in America citizenship and full rights, and otherwise remedy this unspeakable crime.
Assemblyman Thomas says he wasn't surprised by the results of the vote.
This is exactly what I expected. We live in a world full of bigots who refuse to recognize any other forms of life as having rights equal to theirs.
Patriot leadership was quick to back Assemblyman Thomas's push, even though the resolution failed on the floor.
I believe that it was not clarified what the bill specified, so we would like to, we're planning on holding a caucus soon to further ask Assemblyman Thomas about what he is proposing, but obviously it seems to go along with our policies of equality and environmental preservation.
Assemblyman Thomas also laid out an aggressive agenda for what he hopes his new movement will accomplish.
After trees, I plan to extend my campaign to all forms of life, plants, animals, bacteria, and I will introduce a new diet to the world based on non-living things, mainly rock, a lot of salt and magma, and water, non-living things.
Yeah, he's serious. I'm not sure how everybody else in the party feels about it. It's not one of our planks that we have. I wouldn't say I don't care about the environment. If they want to go ahead and pass a bill for trees, that's fine.
And meanwhile, you continue to use the term that even Assemblyman Thomas would find offensive, that your party is made up of planks. How do you feel about the fact that your party is so callous towards the treatment of trees, while the other party is desperate to see them saved?
Using the word planks, you know, I mean, if Assemblyman Thomas has a problem with that, you know, he can come speak to me.
When asked if the statement, "How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?" offended him, Thomas was uncompromising in his response.
No, indefinitely. I find that is offensive to both trees and woodchucks.
Speaker Rutledge promised to give the issue a straight up or down vote if it was brought again.
I'll allow it to be heard, yes.
We eat salt already. Eating other kinds of rocks is just a step further. And I also plan to have ambassadors negotiate between natural enemies to resolve their differences so that animals will no longer eat each other.
I do believe that we as stewards of God's creation should be taking care of trees. I think that, like I said, there can be too much of a good thing, and that if we take that to extremes, then that could cause issues down the road.
I feel that I need to take a step back and to draw up a more convincing argument for my cause.
And now, we have a special message from one of our sponsors.
Trees are living organisms. Man is a living organism. Fundamentally, there is no difference between tree and man. I propose that we extend citizenship and rights to trees as living organisms and represent them in our legislature. Trees are being murdered and otherwise abused because of the color of their bark and their leaves. Join tree rights activism today.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, I'd like to take a moment here on the COTH Report to respond in my role as a guardian of the profession of journalism. Every year here at City on the Hill, we hear resolutions presented on the floor by some of the assembly members that challenge my integrity and question what we do at the COTH Report and at CBC. They claim we're not telling the whole story, that we're biased, that we're dishonest, and I just want to be clear, I resent that. We are honorable, distinguished journalists here, and like so many other members of the journalist profession, I can say I was there. I was there at important moments in City on the Hill history. I was there when Karen Anderson managed to hold power as Speaker of the Assembly for an entire week. I was there when the Lefevers formed a brain trust and managed to shut down all dissent in the Assembly to accomplish their goals. I was there last year when Faxon Rutledge seized ultimate power, or had it handed to him on a silver platter, whatever you want to believe. I was there in Fallujah when rocket attacks took out the chopper that I was in and we went spinning to the ground. I was there in that war zone as I have been in so many others.
You think they bought it?
I think it sounded pretty realistic. I think we're good.
All right, cool.
All right, we're done here. Let's go to dinner.